I'm Michelle Morgan, the Director of the Department of Senior Services, and I am so happy to welcome you to our Senior Safety and Emergency Preparedness Conference. We are especially grateful to our Mayor McCormick for his ongoing support and leadership. He really goes above and beyond to make Woodbridge Township a strong and safe community for all of us. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Mayor McCormick and to acknowledge his dedication to keeping Woodbridge safe, prepared, and a wonderful place to live.
Good morning and thank you. I was going to start off by saying how many people are from Woodbridge, but I think I recognize everybody. There's probably nobody here not from Woodbridge, and if you're not, that's your problem. Because what you see here is what Woodbridge is all about. This is one of many, many sessions and seminars that we put on for our seniors during the course of the year. We're actually filming it also because we show it on our TV station for people who can't get here. There's an awful lot of people who are homebound. We just want to make sure that you have all the resources you need to be safe and to be prepared. And we have a lineup. We first have the best police department in the state of New Jersey here. There's too many guys to remember to introduce individually. We have several different fire departments. We have our first aid operation headed by Dennis Petrick here, who's going to be a speaker. We have emergency preparedness people. We have our CERT team, community emergency response team. We have the terrific Office on Aging, which is under the Department of Senior Services, which is very ably run by the director who just introduced me and said nice things about me. So now I should say very nice things about her and the job she does with our Division on Aging and with our senior transportation. So let's hear from Michelle Morgan. And we have Melissa, we have Kristen, we have Julie, we have Angie, we have, I see everybody back there. I can't see everybody. Colette's here. Renee, okay, Renee, of course. From the Office on Aging, they know how to help you. They know Medicaid, they know Medicare, they know the PAD, they know all the different programs to help you with your life. So you are in a good place here today, even if you're here for obviously you're here for the preparedness seminar, but lean on them for anything, including our police and emergency services people. This is the best town around. You know why? Because everybody all around the perimeter of this room are the best servants around, the best public servants around. I also want to introduce your current council president. He's here dressed, he's not dressed for Halloween. He's actually dressed because he really is in his full-time job, Fireman Corey. He's the inspector over at the Avenel Fire Department, been there his whole adult life, and he's here today in that role, and also because he's on the council covering Avenel and Port Reading, and because he's here in that capacity, and he's currently the council president. So let's hear for Corey Spiller. And other than that, I'm going to get out of the way so you can learn some good things, but thank you for coming, and please, these people want to help you, not just what you're here for today, anything. Ask them what you need, ask me, ask Corey, and if they can't answer it or get you what you need, they will make sure someone else does. We can't be the best town around until we take care of our seniors, and that's something we really, really do here in Woodbridge. So thank you all.
Good morning. Real quick, I just want to echo the mayor, thank him, Michelle and her team, the senior services, all the great events that they do, including this one. I have to thank all my brothers and sisters back there, my mutual aid fire officials, the fire prevention programs. Started out as a little smaller last year. I'm glad to see each fire district is getting more involved to help our seniors. Not just with everything else to be safe and secure, but fire safety. So I always say, you're not here to listen to me, so have a great event. Make sure you take advantage of all our resources and supplies. Thank you.
A quick commercial. This Saturday is the St. James Street Fair, 10 o'clock till 4. It's also the Hispanic Heritage Festival at the very end of Main Street in front of Town Hall. That starts at 12. I don't want to make this a town meeting, but there's a lot happening. I don't know when Trader Joe's is open. Everybody asks me that everywhere I go, including 2 people today. When is Trader Joe's opening? I don't know. They're a very quiet company. We haven't had a lot of conversations with them yet, but they have said end of October. Sprouts on Route 1 and Route 35 is opening October 3rd at 6:30 in the morning. My advice to you is don't go there. Not at 6:30 in the morning. I would imagine, because that Sprouts is a regional draw. It's not just people in Woodbridge allowed to go there. Everybody can go there. My guess is people are going to be there the night before. And I'm not exaggerating with sleeping bags. to get into Sprouts. So if you want to go, wait a couple days. It's going to be a zoo that morning. They invited us to a grand opening. We said, no thanks, we're going at noon, when hopefully things quiet down. So there's a whole lot of stuff happening. Again, this is not a town meeting, but check our websites, check our Facebook pages, social media, our Friday calls. Lots going on in Woodbridge Township. Let me give it back to Michelle now.
As the mayor said, and as I introduced, I'm the director of the Department of Senior Services. And with us, we have Senior Transportation and the Division on Aging. So I want to give a big thank you to Allison Cohen. She is the division head to the Division on Aging, to my wonderful administrative assistant, Renee Santos, and to my supportive colleagues who have helped make today a successful day. As you may know, September is National Preparedness Month, and it is a time to focus on making sure that we are ready for emergencies at home and in our community. The theme for this year is Preparedness Starts at Home. This emphasizes the importance of being ready for emergencies where you live. Whether it is a wildfire, a power outage, a flood, or even a household emergency such as a fire, taking time to plan ahead means that you and your family will be safer and more comfortable when disaster strikes. Our Department of Senior Services is proud to serve as a resource agency for our senior community, our families, and our caregivers. And today, we have brought together the township and the county to share practical information, resources, and tips so that you, your families, and caregivers feel confident and prepared. Our goal is to ensure that in time of crisis or disaster, that you are as prepared as possible with the tools and the confidence to respond. So before we begin, just a few quick reminders. Please silence your cell phones. I will take that advice myself. The bathrooms are located in the back near the entrance. Additionally, everyone has received the packet when they signed in, which includes a survey. I ask that you complete that survey and return it in the back where you signed in a basket that says return surveys here at the end of the conference. Also included in your packet is a flyer for next month's seminar, so please take a note of that, and we will be announcing a break in our program. So thank you all for being here today. We are excited for an informative and interactive day. Let's begin. Our first presenter, Dennis Patrick. Dennis Patrick is EMS manager for the Woodbridge Police Department and a United States Army veteran with more than 20 years of service in emergency response and public safety.
Yep.
He is an innovative leader. Dennis brings deep expertise in managing high-volume EMS operations, large-scale medical coordination, and advanced tactical medical training. Dennis is recognized for empowering teams, enhancing officer readiness, and ensuring the safety of the Woodbridge Township community. He was appointed EMS manager in 2003, and he oversees EMS operations for more than 15,000 annual calls across the township. He works closely with 4 partner agencies to optimize response times and efficiency. He has trained more than 220 police officers and township employees in CPR, first aid, and tactical medical readiness, ensuring a stronger community safety and officer preparedness. Dennis provides EMS leadership at major events, including the annual fireworks display, Summerfest concerts, and the Woodbridge Senior Olympics. His responsibilities have included establishing medical tents, cooling stations, and rapid response EMS units for large gatherings. In addition to his EMS leadership, Dennis manages the Community Emergency Response Team in collaboration with the Office of Emergency Management, strengthening community preparedness and resilience. He is a proud U.S. Army veteran. Dennis served honorably in aviation operations and mission support. He brings his discipline, dedication, and strategic skills of his military service into civilian EMS leadership. Help me welcome Dennis Patrick.
How's everybody doing today? Good morning. Thank you for being here. This is very, very special to me, and it's a passion for all the emergency responders in this room today. We can't be everywhere at every time, so the education that we provide you today will give us a head start if something happens. I'm going to touch a lot on what goes on in Woodbridge Township. We're also going to have a gentleman from the Red Cross that's going to back up a lot of the things that I have to say. So without further ado, we're going to get started. Can everybody see the screen? Awesome. So resources, obviously, emergency. If you have an emergency, we're going to call 911. Non-emergency number is the police department. Michelle Morgan was already introduced. Allison, our police director, Joseph Nitzke. He's the police director of Woodbridge Township Police Department, but he's also the director of emergency management. You have 2 assistant directors, which is Joe Figaro and William Caswick, are also deputy directors of OEM. And then you have the EMS manager, myself. So what we're talking about today is we're going to take control of emergency preparedness, and do we feel they're prepared? So by show of hands, in an emergency, how many people in this room feel like they're prepared? That's not a lot, right? Maybe 10 out of how many are here? So that's why we're here today, to offer you the resources in which we could provide for you, and then the resources that you know you have in an emergency situation. So we have the FEMA campaign, the Ready campaign, which we'll go over. At the end of this presentation, if you don't have if any questions that you have are not answered by myself, there's going to be tables set up where you can go back and ask individual questions, whether it be police, fire, EMS, etc. So what's the step one? First, know your risk, understand your needs during emergencies. This section is going to guide you through a self-assessment to process and identify your specific needs so you can create an emergency plan. If you guys, if you don't have a plan, you should start working on one, because we never know when disaster is going to hit, whether it be a hurricane, a storm, fire, anything and everything that could happen. We want to make sure we're prepared at all times, and we'll talk about ready bags, go bags, things that you're going to need if you have to evacuate as soon as possible. Oh. Perfect, thank you. So, assessing your needs, what we want to do is we want to make sure everybody here has individual stuff that they may need in the course of an emergency. So make sure we have that stuff planned. Does everybody here have a bag that if you had to leave at the drop of a dime, that you're ready with all your stuff in it? No, right? So we have to make sure we touch on that today to make sure you guys are prepared to go, because if we start coming around for a large-scale emergency and we have to evacuate you guys, there's not going to be that much time. So you have to have that bag ready. You have to make sure, does anybody here have pets? We're concerned about our pets, right? We want to make sure we don't leave them behind. That's a big, a big thing for us. The township has resources that we could help you with if you had to take care of your pets so you guys could evacuate. Emergency supply kits. Step 2, make a plan. Develop a comprehensive emergency plan or preparedness kit tailored to your unique needs. Everybody in this room has their own needs, their own medications, their own stuff that they need to make sure that they have it available. God forbid they have to leave their house. So we have to make sure we're specific. One person's needs might not be the other person's needs. So we have to make sure we have a solid plan for the individual person. So included in your plan, families and friends, people you could stay with. Do we have resources? Do we have somebody that we know we can call, our brothers, sisters, our children, anybody that we can go in the case of the event where we don't want to go to the shelter that's set up by the township? But do you have that kind of foundation where if you know you had to leave, and if you don't have somebody to go to, do we have a plan in place where we can get you where you need to be? So that's very, very important. And in the time of crisis or in the time of need, that foundation of family and friend support is very important, because you're going to be in an emotional state, and we want to make sure that you have the resources you need to make that happen. Do you have a wheelchair, a walker, anything specific that's going to help you with your mobility to get in and out of the house? There's things that we have that you could talk about after the presentation, setting up. We have a CAD system with the police department. Officer Harris will go over that. If you have specific needs, we could put a note in the computer to know that we have that stuff, so that we can get that stuff out for you. Oxygen, if you rely on oxygen, or do you have access to that wherever you go? So we have a shelter which is at the community center. If we have to provide temporary shelter in place, we have oxygen tanks there, we have cots there, we have everything set up there if we had to go to that, to make sure that you have everything you need. But that's very, very important. A lot of people don't like to leave. They're like, what am I going to do? Medications, right? Everybody here recently with the storms, have we suffered a lot of power outages, right? Everybody, we get constant calls. Listen, my refrigerator doesn't work. Can you help us with medications? There's things and resources throughout the town that we have available to you that we could definitely help you get through whatever you need. When the mayor was speaking before about being the best town around, we absolutely are. We're one phone call away, and we work 24/7 to make sure whatever you need and however we could assist you is taken care of. Engaging your support system, building a strong support network. That includes emergency planning, provides recommendations for how you can engage with your family, friends, caregivers, neighbors, places of worship, things like that. We go to church, we talk about places of worship. Sometimes in the course of an emergency, we'll partner with a church because they have a lot of space. Hey, we can't get you to the community center, but we'll move you over to the church, or we'll move you over to this building. Creating a foundation with the people at church, or if you guys go to the senior centers, knowing, speaking to you guys, talk to your neighbors, if making sure that you have that community of friendship with your neighbors, so that if something goes wrong, you can count on them. Do they know, hey, listen, this person's usually on a schedule from 9 to 5. I didn't see him that day. That's a lot of how we get a lot of information from neighbors calling in. I usually see my neighbor. They're not out today gardening. Can you guys go and do a check? Police department at that point will come in, we'll do a special check, and we'll come over to make sure that everything's all right. But taking care of one of each other and being a big community, that's how we all thrive, and that's how we want to make sure that everybody is taken care of. So your support network, making sure at least one person in your support has an extra key to your home, know where you keep your emergency supplies, know how to do knows how to use life-saving equipment or administer medicine. So, if you have somebody in your support network that you talk to, if you're a diabetic, can they help you with your insulin, things like that, making sure we have that. Officer Harris is going to come up and he's going to speak a little bit about some of the emergency supplies and contacts that the police department offers that you could put in the system, but making sure also that your family knows where you are at all times. I know I have children, but it's more prevalent even in the adult community for like Life 360. Does everybody know what that is, or anybody heard of that? So there's different apps on your phone that kind of give you like a GPS. So my kids could tell me all the time, they're like, oh, Dad, you're at Wegmans, can you bring something home? Or we realize, or I'll get the better one of like, what are you doing down the shore? You didn't tell us you were going there. So kind of works both ways, right? So they're always tracking me. I bought it to track them, and they're tracking me. But with that being said, if we have that on our phone with our family members, they kind of know where we are at all times. Or if we call the police department, or like, hey, listen, we haven't seen, this person for a long amount, a certain amount of time, you can look on the phone and say, oh, they were here. So it helps us track where we are and tracks movement. If you're like me, who is a little bit of a computer challenged at my age, just have one of your grandkids or one of your kids figure it out for you, because that's what I do. I just hand my phone to the kid and they figure it out and they give it back to me. But there's a lot of things that you could do with your phones that could help us track you and put you in a position where if we haven't seen you or we can't figure it out, or displacement, right? So now we have a disaster. We have a community center that has to get evacuated. Well, maybe everybody can't fit at one location, so we might have to put you into a different location. So like reunification centers, things like that, that's things that we need to figure out, because we all get nervous, right? What happened to this person? Where did my mother go? Where did my father go? It's very nerve-wracking for the whole entire family. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we know where you are at all times, that you're safe, you're taken care of. My father left, but he doesn't have his medication. How do I get that to him? So we want to make sure that we know where you are at all times, and we have a unification process in place to make sure that if we evacuate you, or maybe some people had to go to the hospital because they couldn't go to the center to stay there until the emergency is over. We have to be able to track that. So making sure that we know that our loved ones, we know where we are and how to get to you. So this is a list here back at the EMS table. We also have a copy of everything for you to hand out. so you guys could take a look. So these are just very simple things, right? Do we have enough water, food, family photos? It seems, not that important, but when you're in a time of crisis, sometimes looking at a family photo, looking at your grandchildren, your children, something like that, it makes you feel comfort, it makes you feel warm, like, hey, listen, when we're in a position of trying to figure out survival, sometimes thinking about somebody else gets us through it, that moment. First aid kits, extra batteries, a whistle, that if you can't yell, we could at least blow the whistle, somebody else will hear us. Copies of our Medicaid, Medicare, insurance policies, things like that. We're going to talk a little bit about the file of life as well. When we come to your house, do you have everything listed? Do you have your medications, your emergency contacts, everything in that file of life, which we're going to hand out before you guys leave today? Make sure we have to fill out. The biggest thing that we find when we fill out these file of lives is that we hand them out the first day, and everybody's excited. We're going to fill it out. We're going to fill it out. But then we never update it. So what happens is when we get there, it's the file of life from 2012. And now we're 2025, and that medication that you took in 2012 probably doesn't make a difference in 2025. But we have to make sure when we're doing that stuff, we keep it up to date. Same things, I know we talk a lot about technology and things like that. We have the file of life in the paper form, but also on your phones, there's file of lives in your iPhones, things like that. So that's other stuff that could also be helpful. Copies of your trust or your will, your homeowners or your rental insurance policy. Where does that come into play? Well, if it's an emergency hurricane, a tree hits your house, the Office of Emergency Management, who's here today, they're the ones that are going to facilitate that conversation with you and your insurance companies and things like that to make sure that stuff is taken care of. So that's very, very important. And the same thing, is your paperwork all up to date? Your personal documents, anything that you need to move forward? Do you have your insurance cards, all that other stuff in case you have to go to the hospital? Anything that you think you're going to need in the drop of a hat, you have that with you. If you keep it in the safe, do you keep it in a Ziploc inside the safe? All those things to keep in mind that precious paperwork is all taken care of. Plastic sheeting, a wrench, a manual can opener, things that we don't think about. Local maps. When's the last time somebody here actually used a map? And did it? Yeah, very good. Instead of going on their phone and using Waze or GPS or something like that. My father-in-law is somebody that still has maps in the back of his car. He refuses to use a GPS on the phone. At his age, he's 85 years old. If he drives to California, he's still using a map. He's not, I don't know, but that's what he likes to do. Yet we have our cell phones, but do we have chargers? So another thing we find is we have the backup chargers that could charge your cell phone. Nobody charges the backup charger to charge their cell phone, right? So we have it, but it's not charged. So something to think about where it's like, that's great. Yeah, we have the backup charger. Well, did you charge it? No. Well, that's not really helpful when we're in a time of crisis. Pets. Like we talked about pets and supplies. With our pets, sometimes we're very hesitant to evacuate because we're like, well, who's going to take care of our dog? Who's going to take care of our cat? The animal shelter in Woodbridge Township, along with the police department, everybody else, we will find a way to make sure that your pet is taken care of so that you don't want, you leave and you get taken care of. We'll take care of that as well. Is your pet on medications? Things like that, Make sure that we have a list of medications for your pets. As long as we're taking care of them, we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing by your animal as well, because to us, a lot of us treat our animals just like we treat our children and our family members. They're just as important. So we want to make sure that we have everything we need for them. And then the complete list of your medications, your doctor's phone numbers and things like that, making sure that, did you have a doctor's appointment coming up? Is there something, are you on dialysis? Is there things that we need to know to make sure that you're well taken care of? Other resources, there's just websites there that we'll be able to give you when you guys come back to the desk after we're done with all the presentations. So, so you have the elder care locator to report suspected abuse, non-life threatening injuries, stuff like that. Elder fraud, I know Officer Harris is going to go over that in depth with you guys. And then the mental health hotline for seniors, because sometimes when we're faced with these tragedies, it could be a huge mental toll on us. Who's going to take care of us? Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Sometimes that might lead us to a point where we might be depressed or be upset. Just know that there's a resource and a phone number you can call. You could always call the town. The town has plenty of mental health resources. You can call the hotline. But just know that we're there for you, and that we'll be able to help you and get you through it until you get back to your house. And that's pretty much it on my side of things. The only thing I'll touch on is emergency services. Like I said, I'm responsible for all emergency services. All the ambulances that show up to your home when you guys call 911, that all falls under my direction. I just want to make sure that you guys never not call an ambulance because of financial reasons. So just know, as a resident of Woodbridge Township, you will not be billed for an ambulance ride to the hospital. That's a dedicated thing from the mayor, directly from him. And if bills come in, they come directly to my office and we take care of it. We do not want you to not seek care or medical attention for financial reasons, or anything that you think that might hold you back. The first thing we need is really, you're the most important thing to us as first responders. We want to make sure that you're taken care of, and that anything you need, we meet that need for you. And that's why we have this room full of, police, fire, EMS, emergency management, senior services. We also have utilities here. We have PSE&G, Elizabethtown Gas. So if you're like, listen, there's an emergency, I don't know what to do. Is my gas going to be turned off? Is there something with electric? Though, we have the representatives here today, they're going to be able to answer all those questions for you. The whole goal of today, and the goal of what we want to do as first responders and the senior leadership in town, is to make sure you walk out of here knowing and being assured that you're going to be taken care of, and that any question that you may have is answered before you leave today. That's the most important thing, and that's why we've come together to kind of build this forum, to know that you're important. Every single person here is important to us. We care about you. We want to make sure that you're well taken care of. So you have all the public sector, you have the private sector agencies, you have everybody here to make sure that you guys are well taken care of. So that's all I got. Does anybody have any questions for me? If you have nothing specific and you want to just come to the table afterwards, you're more than welcome to. But I want to thank you, appreciate you being here, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dennis. Just to reiterate what Dennis said, we have PSE&G, we have Elizabethtown Gas, we have New Jersey Shares, and we have Senator Vitale's office. Oftentimes we get referrals from individuals. Utilities are expensive, they may have a shut-off notice, or maybe utilities have been cut off. And that's why we invited them here, because that too constitutes a crisis. So let's move along.
I just kind of wrapped it.
Our second presenter is Hager. He began in the fire service in 1974 with the Protection Fire Company number 1 in Caseby, serving as the fire chief in 1982 to 1983. Elected to fire commissioner's position, serving for 4 years before moving to the Island section of Woodbridge Township. Joining there in the late 1980s, he was hired as a part-time fire inspector in 1987, and he began his career in fire prevention.
Thank you.
In 1988, he was hired by the Cranford Fire Department and served 25 years, retiring in 2013 as a captain and tour commander. In 1991, he was hired by the County of Middlesex as a part-time fire instructor at the Middlesex County Fire Academy, and he continues to teach at the County Fire Academy to this day.
To this day.
He has a contract as an instructor for the National Fire Academy in Emmitsburg, Maryland, teaching the young fire setting courses as opportunities present themselves. Please help me welcome Hager.
Hagar.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Hello, hello. For those who are curious, my name is Norwegian, Helga Nordtveit. Now, that kind of gets a little bit tongue-tying, so I usually just go by Hagar. Plus, I have always wanted to be one of those one-name rock stars. So if you remember me as Hagar, that's cool for me. We are also in Woodbridge Township, fire department-wise, set up in individual fire districts. So if you live in a part of town that has a fire department like Woodbridge, Port Reading, you could go to one of those places to ask your question or speak to the guys at the table in the back. However, if you live in Island, I also cover a section of Colonia. So if you have any questions about the Colonia section of Island, go see the Colonia table. It's not filled, by the way. No, Bill couldn't be here today, but yeah, just so you understand that we have individual fire districts. I was contacted yesterday. I am filling in for Frank Della Pietro. Frank is not able to be here today, but we just want to let Frank know we're thinking about him, and he would have done a much better presentation than the one I'm going to do. We get a chance to talk to you every year around this time of year, ironically, it's interesting it occurred this time of year because it's Fire Prevention Week. Fire Prevention Week reminds us of a fire that occurred in Chicago in 1871. October 8th, a fire started. It burned for 3 days. It killed 300 people. It destroyed 11,000 buildings, and it burned about 200 acres of the city of Chicago. As a firefighting tactic, their fire chief, who was also a retired military person, used dynamite to try to blow buildings up to stop the fire from progressing. But this fire taught us in the fire service that we need to provide the public with information. And we do that in our own way in our own jurisdictions, but this is remarkable to have this chance to speak to all of you and get this message out to everyone, and then you have a chance to speak to individual fire personnel from your residential area. So please make use of that before you leave today. The lithium-ion battery issue is one that's important right now. Everything we have, almost everything we have, has a rechargeable battery is lithium-ion. And we have to be careful about that. Please don't leave your batteries charging constantly. Charge them to 100% and disconnect them. Salt water and lithium-ion batteries, not a good combination. Florida is having a terrible problem right now with these houses that flooded with the storms that passed through, and the lithium-ion batteries, they go into a situation called thermal runaway. Inside that pack that makes up the battery, there are a number of smaller battery cells. One of them starts to overheat, and that causes a chain reaction that causes all of them to overheat. That's when the fire occurs. So if you have lithium-ion batteries, you should think twice about it. And ask your questions today as you're leaving if you have any specific questions. I'm sure most of the fire officials are aware of this one. So the program we're going to talk about, I would do this if I was talking to preschoolers and kindergartners, or if I'm talking to people like yourselves who have a little bit of experience in life. Do you have a home escape plan? I have interviewed youth who set fire for over 30 years. You know, I've interviewed thousands of kids, families, and in that time, I have only been told a family had an escape plan twice. Once, it was because the family remembered, and I remember this too because I got a free hamburger, McDonald's gave away a free hamburger if you filled out an escape plan on a form they gave you. I remember that as a kid. I am one of us. We are speaking as equals. The other family said they did, and they had a plan, and they practiced the plan, and everyone knew the plan. It is so critical. At the end of this part of my talk, I'm going to run a video for you, and the video is not to scare you. I don't want you to misunderstand the reason I'm showing this. I need you to understand, if you're ever in a fire, it is going to be completely unnerving, upsetting. It is going to cause so many emotions you don't even think you have right now. B, you are convinced you are never going to see one of the fire trucks that we work with in front of your house. I hate to tell you this. In my career, my worst example was at an open house in Casby back a long time ago. I was standing on the front lawn. I looked at the homeowner and said, "Didn't you tell me last Saturday we'd never be here?" So think about, plan for, think about the things we talk about. And there are so many topics I could cover, but I just want you to be aware. This home escape plan is the first and one of the most important parts. Think about having a fire. Think about having a clear 2 ways out if you can do it. If you're in a residential home, living by yourselves or living with your family, plan it as a family. Everybody knows the plan. The holidays are coming up. Family members come to visit. Educate them to what the plan is. The plan has multiple parts. Having working smoke alarms. How do I know I have working smoke alarms? I test them once a month. If you have older smoke alarms, and smoke alarms have to be replaced every 10 years, the manufacturer says that after 10 years, the smoke alarm may or may not work effectively. After 10 years, in New Jersey now, when you sell your home, if it's a single-family home, you need to have the smoke alarms with the 10-year batteries in them. 10-year batteries were not a godsend for us, though, because we still ask you, regardless of what kind of smoke alarm you have, if you have battery units, change the battery once a year. Once a year is absolutely fine. The day you turn the clocks back, which is coming up in a couple of weeks or 2 months, the day you turn the clocks ahead, if you prefer. On a birthday, at one time they proposed it that way, make it a birthday present, give your smoke alarm a new battery. And then test it once a month. Just test it, beep, make sure it works. Because sometimes the 9-volt batteries go dead. The 10-year batteries, I'm doing this presentation for firefighters. Firefighters have come up to me after the presentation and said, 2.5 years in, my 10-year battery was dead. So what we're afraid, people are now putting 10-year smoke alarms up in their homes and ignoring them, thinking they're safe for 10 years. Please test them once a month. For those of us that are a little vertically challenged, get a yardstick, get something a little bit longer so you can safely do it. Don't stand on a chair. Don't have Dennis's people come to pick you up because you fell. Because as seniors, as we all are, or as older adults, as we call you to be more, I guess, politically correct, falls are one of our worst things. 25% of us will fall. So and I'm sure that's what someone else is going to talk about here. I'm not going to spend time on that. But we have to be careful about that. So get a stick, or if you have no one else to turn to, talk to one of the fire officials, make a connection with them. They'll stop by every so often and check for you. We have a couple of people in town that we actually check their alarms and change their alarms periodically because they are not able to do it themselves. Keep your way out clear. I'm not assuming, I'm not suggesting, I don't think that we collect stuff in our homes that we kind of just put down by the door, put down in the walkway. We're going to put it away a little bit later, but a little bit later doesn't seem to come. And we start to collect stuff. Don't look at your husband, it's not his fault. You are just as guilty as he is. I'm speaking to protect myself. But the point is keep your way clear, because again, in this video you're going to see how A, quickly a fire grows, B, how black smoke becomes, and how fast the smoke fills the room. I don't want you to be scared. I don't want you to leave here worried about having a problem tonight. I want you to leave here prepared to take action. That is the reason I'm showing this video, so please remember that. There it is. Things to keep near you so that you can grab them as you're going. If you need hearing aids, look at me, I got the glasses. I'll be able to find the door, but if they ask me to sign a form out front, somebody better be there to exit for me because I'm not sure I'm going to see it. Have these things handy. Your cell phone. Your cell phone can save you. You live in a building where you only have, I wanted to talk about this. We've been working with the housing authority in town, and all 9 fire districts have agreed. If I'm wrong, one of you guys yell up at me. All 9 fire officials have agreed that our plan for you in one of the senior buildings is guard in place. We want you to stay in your room, and we will remove you as we have to. If your room is on fire, please don't stay. You are the one who should leave and take one of those stairways to get out of the building. And yes, unfortunately, you shouldn't use the elevator. But if you're even in the apartments next door, the way our buildings are set up, either I'm in the Cooper Tower building, which is like a cement bunker. Others of you live in more current buildings that are built with wood and metal stud, but they have sprinklers. So you have time. And now here's the challenge for us, because they did this to us once at a fire at Cooper Tower. They were ordered to evacuate before the fire department got there. And who was filling the stairways as the firefighters were trying to get up to the room was on fire? And we don't move well. I can say we now because I am one of us. We don't move well, and we need both handrails. We need to take our time. We can't get out of the way. And these young firefighters, when they're going to fight a fire, that's all they're thinking about. So you're kind of like a very poor offensive lineman trying to protect the quarterback with a very young, virile firefighter pushing past you. So that's why we ask you to stay in place. We will get you out as we see has to be done. So that's a point to remember. If you need a wheelchair, if you need a walker, a cane, have it near you so that you can get into it and we can get you out. If you have those extra needs, utilize the services that Dennis was talking about a little while ago. Register so that we know that you do that. The fire department's primary job on arrival at a fire scene is life safety. Number one is to save lives. This is why firefighters take absurd risks trying to get in the buildings to make sure it's not occupied, or better yet, if we know where you are, we will get you out. If you're on a second floor bedroom in a residential house, we will raise a ladder to your window rather than drag you through the smoke and fire, but we will get you out. That is our primary job as firefighters. So don't lose sight of that, but keep this close by. Keep these kind of items close by so that you have them if you need them. There it goes. If you have people who have special needs, build it into your plan. Register that through Dennis's program. Your program will do that, right? This Reach New Jersey or whatever you said? Yeah. Talk to Dennis about this and get that stuff registered so that we can know that when we arrive on scene or before we arrive on scene. And we will help you with that. When we know about people who have special needs, they're the ones that we try to build into our plan as well so that we can effectively rescue them. And here's the kicker. Practice it. Practice it. Your children, your grandchildren, once a month they practice a fire drill. When was the last time a child died in a fire in a school? Ain't happened. Ain't happened. 1959 or 1958, the Our Lady of Angels fire in Chicago, which was a fire set by a youth in the basement of the building, killed 93 kids, 2 nuns. 1958, but after 1958, what did we start to do? We had 2 fire drills a month. We put doors on all those stairways. We compartmentized the building. Now when schools are built, schools have to be built with sprinklers because we all know, we as firefighters all know sprinklers save lives. But we can't get the building code to address that. We try as best we can. Practice your plan. It's kind of like Dennis said about your vial of life from 2012. He's right, that probably isn't going to be very accurate today. When I was a young man, I had 1 doctor. Today, I am an older person, and I got lots of doctors. Same thing happens with our medicines. Your smoke alarms have to work. I kind of covered this already. Have to be less than 10 years old. How do I check? Remove it. If you're not able to yourselves, please ask. The fire department is happy to help you with this in most cases. They have to be replaced. If you're replacing them now, the 10-year battery is going to be better for you if for some reason you're going to sell that property. You'll just have addressed that problem up front. So please check them once a month as well. Again, this is to educate you. These are from Underwriters Laboratory. This is scientific data, not people who are trying to scare you.
That is insane.
In the event of a fire, who here thinks that you're safer sleeping with the doors open?
I keep them open because I was a mom for so long.
My kid's room is 2 doors down from mine, always open.
I'm not all that confident they would stop anything anyway.
Harold, hey, Ben, nice to meet you. Harold, have a seat.
Well, I'm right here.
Chris, how are you?
Great.
As you think about fire safety, what keeps you up at night?
Yeah, I'm not too concerned. I probably don't think about a fire part as much as I should, because I do forget to turn things off often.
Have you ever
A fire? No.
We told you that you'd be coming here today for discussion, but what we didn't tell you is that there's also a demonstration that we want to show you. Sound good? I want to introduce you to Steve, the director of the UL Firefighter Safety Research Institute. I'll let Steve take it away.
Welcome. My job is to lead a team of people that study how fire grows and spreads so we can keep you safe. Here at the Delaware County Emergency Services Training Center, we essentially turn this place into a laboratory. We've got several structures around here that we build to simulate where you live. And one of those structures is right here behind me. What I want you to do is I want to take you inside here, and I want you to see how this looks like your home. And then once we get you outside, we're going to go ahead and recreate what would happen if there was a fire in this structure right here. Look pretty normal? Yeah, got some furnishings. You'll notice the difference down here as we walk down. This bedroom door will be closed, and the one at the end of the hall will be open. And what I want you to do is pay attention to comparison of the two of those and think about you and your family trying to survive this fire. All right, we just hit the button, we have ignition.
Oh boy, here she goes. Oh man, that is scary.
It's scary, right? Look, we have smoke coming out over here already.
What a lot of people don't realize is that the furnishings that are in our homes today are made of synthetic materials. So they burn so much faster than your old natural cotton-filled furnishings used to be. The statistics that we've seen through our research is in about 40 years ago, you had about 17 minutes to get out of your house after the smoke alarm sounded. Now you have less than 3 minutes.
Holy crap. See, this is the things that we were. Whoa. Can you feel that? How can you survive that? Seriously, that is insane.
All right, go ahead and knock it down. All right, as you remember, closed door on the left, open door on the right. And you can see the dramatic difference between the two with the simple closed door. We want people to be as prepared as possible and understand the importance and how little time you have and what that simple barrier can provide to you and your family should you have a fire. I want you guys to throw some hard hats on and some safety glasses and at least poke your heads in the windows, or you can even walk in the hallway if you want.
Give me a word or phrase to describe what you just saw.
Anxiety.
Frightening.
Terrifying.
I really didn't expect anything like this.
Now I ask you one last time, in the event of a fire, are you safer sleeping with the doors open or the doors closed?
Without a doubt, the door closed.
Definitely with the doors closed, and from now on, the doors will be shut at night.
Definitely closed.
Closed.
Definitely closed. And I'm surprised by it.
It's always great to be able to get the message out. When we can take our research and get it out into the community to change behavior with the message of close before you doze, it feels great, and hopefully we can save lives.
If there was one bit of advice that you could give friends or family today, what would it be?
Close before you doze.
Close before you doze.
Close before you doze. Close before you doze.
Close before you doze. The key fire safety messages we want people to have are, one, have working smoke alarms in every level of your home, inside and outside every sleeping room. We want everybody to have an escape plan. Should you have a fire, you should know how to get out quickly. And if you can't get out quickly, having a closed door between you and where that fire is critical to your survival.
You can stop it there. So you can see, if you are in a room with a closed door, you may be in a room with the fire on the other side of that door. The temperature in that room may not go above 90 or 100 degrees. Can you survive 90 or 100 degrees? That open door room, the fire temperature, the heat of the fire in that room, between 400 and 1,000 degrees. I'm going to give you one more bit of information. You suffer a first-degree burn at 118 degrees. That scalding burn with the hot water on your skin, on your hand from a cup of coffee or tea, about 118 degrees. Around 131 degrees, you get a second-degree burn. That's when the blisters occur. Now, remember what I said. You're in a room where the temperature may not exceed 100 degrees. A full-thickness third-degree burn, 162 degrees. Skin is fragile. The firefighters who go in to fight that fire are wearing protective clothing that will give them a few seconds at 400 or more degrees. A few seconds in that environment, unless they're doing their job as firefighters effectively. This is why you need to be aware. This is why I don't want you to leave here scared. I want you to realize, did you see all that thick black smoke? It fills that box. I call the house a box. And when we make the box behave, fire doesn't blow out the windows, rooms don't reach flashover. But when the box doesn't behave, it is a bad place to be stuck. So please be prepared. The last thing I wanted to touch on, because I wasn't sure I'd have enough, if you use If you use space heaters or some other form of heat now, you got so many different varieties, the oil ones, the old electric ones, please keep space between them and combustible items. 3 feet, 36 inches between anything that can burn and your space heater. Don't let electrical carpets, don't let electrical cords run under carpets. We talked about fall hazards. Well, if I put carpeting over that electric cord, I won't trip on it as likely. A, the carpet becomes the trip hazard. B, as you walk across that electric cord, you cause a break in that outside rubber plastic insulation, and that's the spot where heat builds up, and that could be the spot where the fire starts. Put them against the wall, keep them out of the way, don't let them go through doors. Don't put them in any place where they're going to get crimped. Don't overload your extension cords. Don't go to the dollar store and buy a little brown zip cord and then plug your air conditioner or your space heater or your toaster or whatever else into it, because the cord can't handle the heat. If you have questions about that, the District 2 fire marshal, fire official, is the guy to ask. You're welcome. Cooking safety. I was giving out some wooden spoons back there. You're watching your favorite TV show in the afternoon, you got the pot on the stove going. You're gonna go sit down and just watch for a second, but if I take that spoon with me and I get engaged in the show I'm watching, what will it remind me to do? Go back to the kitchen to turn the pot off or to deal with the pot, whatever the preparation is. You'll be amazed what percentage of calls we have are, what do they call them now, guys? Culinary mishaps I've heard thrown around on the radio. Yeah, the young guys have their own terminology. I'm an old guy. We call them stove fires. And working smoke alarms. I have caused you this intestinal disturbance for far too long. Thank you so much for your time, for your attention. Are we doing questions now, or can they go to the table?
You can do now.
Do you have questions? No hands is happy. I'm happy. Oh, my happy place is disturbed.
I'm just curious, wouldn't the door burn? Most of your
The question is this: wouldn't the door burn? And that's a great question. But I will tell you this. Now, there are different kinds of doors. The doors that are behind, right over here, those are called fire doors. And those are designed to contain a fire for a specific amount of time, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. But if you have a normal kind of a 6-panel door, it has like the little cutouts on it. If you have a hollow core door, that door can buy you 20 to 30 minutes, even with the fire just on the other side. So yeah, that's a great question, thank you. And you're still safe if you can't get out. If there's a reason why you can't get out, close the door, something on the bottom to block smoke. We used to talk about duct tape around the door. A bunch of things you can talk to the fire people about, and we'll be happy to help you. Oh, I got another one.
So if you're in your bedroom and the doors are closed, my client is on the first floor, should I open the windows? Same idea, I'm screwing with the oxygen?
Open the window. I would say this. Pull the blinds. Okay, here's the question. I'm sorry, you all can't hear the question. On the second floor bedroom, fire's on the first floor. Excuse my back. First floor fire on a bedroom on the second floor. Close the door. Should I open the window? What I'm going to suggest to you is, and this is firefighting tactic stuff, I wouldn't want you to create that flow point. What that open window becomes is a way for the fire to try to get fresh air. So what I would say is keep the window closed, block the door so you're not getting a lot of smoke in the room. Pull the blind aside, stand in, turn the lights on, stand, wave, have your phone, call 911. I'm on the back of the house in the right corner, I'm at the window, because the firefighters are coming for you. That's our first job, or to get all of you out, and then we'll deal with the problem. Now, sometimes the fire chief may say, I'm going to get water on the fire, and that's going to make it better for you on the second floor. But that's the fire officer by incident decision. Other questions? Yes?
Is anybody going to touch on these solar panels that are going on the roofs today?
That means 2 minutes.
Solar power, yeah, you know what? Let's do this. If you want to talk about solar panels are exceptional. Solar panels are wonderful. The problem we're having is the maintenance on the solar panels from most of the big fires I've read about, and if I read about them, that means they're multi-million-dollar losses, are because they're not performing the maintenance and clearing the birds' nests and the leaves and that kind of thing away from underneath them. And that's where, if there's a problem, a fire starts because of an electrical problem in the panel. There are so many nuances in solar. The District 2 fire official is another one who could probably address some of those for us. I'm just pointing you over to that young man there. But I'll be happy to talk to you afterwards. They are safe when maintained properly, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where I'm going to stop right now. Yes? My ears are bad. Go ahead.
Condominium, the second floor, there is no other door to open except the main door and the balcony.
Right.
How do you get up?
Okay. The statement is this. Are you in one of the senior buildings?
No.
Okay, so it's your own home. There's a door. There's no door. It's open stairway to the second floor. Okay. There's no door on the second floor. What I would say, and again, this isn't something that we would talk about doing, is an escape ladder. But for younger people, we would suggest if that's the case, you may need to do something along the lines of an escape ladder. Or know this, the air is cooler, the air will be safer to breathe if you're down by the floor. Take a bed sheet, take the cover and hang it out of the window and call on your phone and say, there's a bed sheet hanging out of the window, I'm on the second floor in that bedroom. Okay?
That means you can get out from the balcony.
What was the last part? It's my ears, trust me, it's not you.
You can get down to the, go out from the balcony.
Okay. If you have a balcony, let me get back up here so I talk to everybody. If you have a balcony, then you can close that door behind you. So in effect, you do have the ability to isolate yourself from the problem, and then from the balcony call and say you're on the balcony. Is this one of the garden apartments or condominiums now we call them? Yeah. So that would be the safest thing to do, is get as far away from the problem as you can and protect yourself there. Anybody else? I have a 4-question minimum. Oh, 5 questions. One more and I gotta go.
Should a battery lawnmower be charged outside the house, outside the garage?
Justin, what do you say? Battery lawnmowers and stuff like that. Have you looked at this yet? Okay. What Justin, I believe, is saying is that the garage has its own fire rating. It's got an hour separation from the rest of the residents. What I would say is this. From the battery perspective, what we're talking about now is charge it till it's fully charged, then disconnect it. And then, just use the battery as you need to, and then recharge it when you need to. I don't know if that answers your question. If not, please feel free to speak to either Justin or myself after the break. I've been cut off. But so please come to the back room and talk to me, back of the room and talk to me.